A crash project is one of the worst things a producer will ever come across. You're in the middle of cooking up a beat and then before you know it, bam, FL Studio totally shuts down. Thankfully, these days the program automatically gives us a backup. But there's one additional thing that you're gonna wanna do to ensure that you'll never miss a precious moment again. I'm going to show you how to do that right now today. You ready? Let's get into it. First, we're gonna go to options, then we're gonna go to file settings. Once we're here at file settings, we're gonna go to the backup section and we're gonna take a look at this drop down here. Now, by default, majority of you have this set to occasionally, which is every 10 minutes. However, personally, I like to keep this on regularly. And if you're working with recording artists, you may want to up it a bit further to something like, let's say, frequently. Now, if you're gonna make that change because you record recording artists in FL Studio, you wanna be cognizant of the maximum amount of backups. The reason is the more frequently it saves, the less further back you're gonna have in the folder to recall in the past. Hopefully that made sense. Now, thankfully with FL Studio, you can just keep dialing up the maximum number of backup session. I believe it might even go up even further than 500, so we could just keep going and going and going. You know, if your computer's built like that and you are working with somebody who's super important, then hey, you might want to do that. For one, I keep my maximum around 20, so I just have about 20 backups in my backup folder, and I go ahead and keep it on either frequently or regularly. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on frequently, so that way if I make any type of changes, I can always recall it. Now, majority of you might say, you know, this is not really that big of a deal. You know, every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, you know, it's relatively the same thing. Who really cares? As long as I have a backup, I have a backup. Now, I will say this, I have been in the moment of cooking up beats and I thought I saved it relatively recently and I still had the backup on every 10 minutes, and it can be a bit of a headache. It can kind of throw off the vibe and throw off the energy in the studio session if you are unable to recall the project that just crashed, especially if you're working with recording artists and you guys are making a beat or a song together. Now you have to kind of waste their time due to the fact that you weren't totally prepared to pull up that backup. So for good measure, you just want to make sure that you increase the frequency of your backup so that way you can always recall things and you and the artist or other producers that you're cooking up with in the session can have everything ready to go and ready to pull back up. I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. My name is Desmond A, and I'll be back with more great videos. Peace.
Desmond A.